early for the dealers come out. Everybody is outside till the killers come out. You ain't eating, you just act full. I'm impactful. Dozen funerals in a month, I got that full. I will give it to niggas in all rap forms. Ignatius out right now on all platforms.
What's going on, everybody? You're in the building with the all knowing, all loving, all feeling, all seeing, all powerful. It's damn all everything. Sexy as hell host. That's me, Lamont Tyson. This is the Politics of Being Black show. And folks, do I have a damn show for y'all today? We've got Republican Democrats going after New Age Democrats, and it's ridiculous. Old men. When I say Democrat, I mean Dixiecrat from like the 1960s. We got that. We've got a version of good celebrities influencing people properly, and then we've got celebrities influencing people badly. You want me to give you some names? Eric Benet, Killer Ozempic Mike, and my girl Jenny Lawrence. We've got that. We've got y'all's president, some of y'all's favorite president. While he should be trying to figure out how to help the taxpayer, how to fix capitalism so folks ain't having to pay tuition to get gas. This fucker is out here sending pictures, AI pictures that probably cost $10,000 a cut of him with abs, of his body looking like it should be Barack Obama's body. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't make this shit up. I can't. And then we've got my boy D.L. Hughley talking about how the government has gone after the Southern Poverty Leadership Center, law, and he's going to give you a history of what I already knew, but maybe because he has a bigger voice than me, you guys are here. So let's go ahead and jump on into this shit. We have a brand new congressman that is making waves, ladies and gentlemen, and I mean, he's coming through with everything middle class and poor wants to hear. He did a town hall where he does not scream. You can come in there as you are. If you want to come in there as your mama birthed you, butterball naked with juices dripping off your body, come on up in there. Well, we did get that, so, ladies and gentlemen. We got somebody who came in there from West Virginia that probably hangs on the side of the mountains with his two good teeth, and this is what happened. Take a listen.
I'm a real Democrat, not a faggotcrat like you, okay? I've heard enough of this bullshit. Y'all can go to hell or put your head back in the fucking sand. Have a nice day. I'm not finished with you, jackass.
Okay.
But he left, so we don't have to listen to him. All right.
Again, it open to the public and we don't screen questions.
Oh my God, man. Just the way, folks, the way he taught reveals his education. That was Jordan Woods, folks. If you haven't checked him out, go online. He is fantastic in the things he stands for, the things he believes in. But let's talk about little buddy that seemed like he came out of the number 7 aisle of Food Line, the Ready Whip aisle. His ass was Ready Whip for Trump, talking about he's a Democrat, and he called Jordan Wood a faggotcrat. Okay, let's just get down to the bottom of what that is for a lot of Republican men. Any man who thinks a woman's voice is equal to his, any man who thinks education is a good thing, any man who sees equality as something that uplifts everybody in the world, any man who sees that there's inequities in wealth and the way workers make money, to a person like that guy who hangs from mountains with one tooth, probably, I don't even think he's got one tooth the way his voice sounded, you're going to be a faggot to him. You are. That's just the way it is. These people who follow Trump like that, they like to think they're real men, when deep down in their hearts, ladies and gentlemen, they are nothing but followers, worker bees, people that want to be told what to do, people that don't want to think about anything. They don't want to have to critically think about anything. They just want to wake the fuck up, be told to go to a 9 to 5, you get to have lunch at noon, and take your ass back home. That's what they want to do. And every now and then on the weekend, they can go get them a beer. They can go watch them some NASCAR. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're going to do. But that's not what this world is all about. If you want to do that, you have a right to do it. But you should not be trying to enforce other people to live their life like that. Again, ladies and gentlemen, go check out the big homie Jordan Woods. That's him right there. I like where he's going. He's got a great career on his way, and I think he's worth you guys taking a look at. Now, we'll go ahead and we'll start talking about what the celebrities are saying. And so one of my favorite, Eric Benet is one of them, but I'm going to say him for the end because he's kind of a good part of this video. I'm going to have jokes on Eric Benet too, but that's my guy. He does good. We're going to get to DL Hughley. He has a show called Uncertain. That show is fire on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, where he goes through the politics of the week. He breaks things down. And what people don't realize about DL is a historian. He's not just a comedian. And oftentimes people who have a deep history of any country and then on top of that have experiences in life, they tend to be able to make shit funny because they've suffered pain and they're able to turn that pain into something funny. He's going to break down, ladies and gentlemen, how the government would not help Black people back in the Jim Crow era and before. And when Black people fought back and started using their tactics, all of a sudden now the government wants to get some balls and try to sue somebody under the Trump administration, of which those of us who know and who think critically, who are educated, and educated people doesn't always mean book education. So don't think that when I say educated, it's book education. Educated in the ways of the world. When you see this, you're going to already know. But he's going to break it down for you anyway. So let's take a look at what he had to say on his show, Uncertain. Please go subscribe, and then I'll come back with my commentary on what he had to say.
COINTELPRO was the federal government using the power of the federal government to infiltrate black militant groups. Because they, at that time, after they got finished with Bugs Moran and Bonnie and Clyde, their next thing was to go after what they considered these black militant groups. And what they would use was subterfuge. They would use paid informants. They would set them up. They would try to blackmail them. Like they sent pictures to Martin Luther King about his, letting them know about they knew about alleged affairs and tried to get him to commit suicide. They had information on Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and Medgar Evers. So Hoover was more concerned about them than even the white nationalists or the Klan. And the Southern Poverty Law Center came along because of COINTELPRO and the efficacy that they had against dismantling the Klan. And in the southern region of the United States of America, they just would not protect Black people. They wouldn't act in laws. So if you look, it was from the mid-50s to 1971 where COINTELPRO existed. Guess when the Southern Poverty Law Center started? In 1971. And what they said was, we'll use the very same tactics that they use to, trap black militant groups. We'll use paid informants. We'll use, subterfuge. We will use all the tactics that they use to get black militants. The Southern Poverty Law Center used to protect them and to kind of shine a light on these really dangerous groups. And now this government is going after the Southern Poverty Law Center for the very thing the government did to get rid of these black groups. You know how effective it was? This is how effective they were at COINTELPRO. This is how effective the government was, the Department of Justice was. The Klan, the Black Panthers are gone, but the Klan is still here. And people forget, if it weren't for the Black Panthers, American children, school children, wouldn't have free breakfast. They started a free breakfast program that in 1975, the United States government took. Now, I don't know many groups that are only bad that feed children. The Klan only gave us Burning Cross. I guess you could warm your breakfast up on one. But they were hell-bent on destroying one. And now we do not have Black Panthers, and the Klan and white nationalist groups are stronger than ever.
It's so interesting. I saw where the SPLC actually sued the Klan.
And won.
And actually bankrupted them.
Yeah, but it ain't hard to bankrupt the Klan.
I mean, it ain't that hard.
If you don't give me this devil white, this $7 and this can of potted meat.
And throw the dog in.
Yeah, they did.
But just the fact that they
He took the words right out of my mouth. I was like, you bankrupted the Klan. I mean, what you going to get, a double wide, maybe a triple wide trailer? But some things he mentioned in there that upset me as a Black person. It should upset anyone who claims they love freedom, who claims they love this country. Outside of my black folks that are watching me, how many of you Anglo-Saxons or anybody outside of that group have heard of the good things the Black Panthers did for the country? How many of you? Raise your hand, I'll wait. Because the history books are being whitewashed, always have, and skewed to the way, especially if you're in the South, that they want it to be. Because they want you to be quiet on the issues of inequality. They want you to be quiet on the issues of social justice. Why? Because social justice is wealth equality. This country got a head start built on the backs of Black people. This country got a head start, I'll say it again, built on the backs of Black people. And the people that helped give that head start are still struggling to try to catch up. And I just hate to say it. The things that can be done, well, I'm not even going to say I hate to say it, so let me take that back. I'll proudly say it, but more people need to hear it. When you let white people corrupt you by saying socialism is bad, ask them, do they support socialism for Amazon? Ask them, do they support socialism for Tesla? Ask them, do they support socialism for the punk we've got running the country right now who is trying to sue the IRS for money and then pay it to himself? Ask them, are they against socialism for big corporations? Are they against socialism for Elon Musk? They will probably tell you no, because they create jobs. The bullshit that we've been hearing for years since Ronald Reagan. Well, that works two ways, ladies and gentlemen. But the poor people who probably cheered and have no idea about what was going on in history, when they see something like this, don't know that that form of socialism is happening each and every day, where the corporations are socializing the money that they pay in taxes and using it for their good and their gain. And here's the kicker. If they blow the money, because their argument is always this, well, we can't give middle class and poor money because they'll spend it. And the shit blows my mind, because as someone who knows business and has been through several businesses, America is a consumering nation, and the powers that be like it that way, because you're on this hamster wheel. You're going to always need to consume, which means you always got to most likely work for somebody, and that's what they want. They don't want a good social system where you don't have to be beholden to them as much. And so I said all that to say, I'm happy that the Southern Poverty Law Center is fighting back, but I'm not happy that our history won't teach why they had to fight in the first place. It's not put in history books anywhere in most schools. I didn't learn about the shit in school, which I should have. We enjoy in this country whitewashing the people that we love and only telling half of their story. And I'll even say this. A friend of mine, I texted the other day about the Michael Jackson story. Critics was killing that movie because it didn't get salacious enough with the stuff that happened to Michael Jackson during the 90s. And I'm someone who, I don't believe that you should just tell half of somebody's story. White America does. And you know why? Because they know that if young people knew the full story of these founding fucking fathers, they probably wouldn't see them in the kind of light that they want to uphold these fuckers to. They wouldn't see it. Because if they knew that these guys had slaves, was screwing some of these slaves, and in some cases in love with the slaves, it would change the perception of how you view them. But with my friend in the Michael Jackson conversation, I mentioned to her, I said, this was a great movie. And the movie ended before they got to most of the controversy. The only controversy was him and Bubbles the baboon, okay? My man had a damn petting zoo outside his fucking house. I mean, dude had a fucking giraffe. I don't know how they kept the giraffe from running in the streets of LA and shit like that, but he had all that. I text her and I say, movie was good. How did you feel about it? The only thing they didn't get into was the boy-on-boy action. Now, this person knows the controversy that went around Michael Jackson with that. You know what they text me back? They said, what boy-on-boy action? Clearly, this person is a case of Michael Jackson was one of their heroes, and they want to disavow the bad parts of his life. Now, Michael Jackson was never had criminal charges or anything like that the way our president does, but there was a whole lot of smoke, and probably there was some fire somewhere. And you can't just turn a blind eye to that. Like, a lot of people don't know, as DL mentioned, Martin Luther King and his jump offs. Not only his jump offs, his Anglo-Saxon jump offs. And Herbert Hoover was trying to use that against Martin Luther King to get him to commit suicide, to stop getting people to want to uprise against Mighty Whitey and socialize the good of everybody instead of giving it to the top 1% and white guys. And so, ladies and gentlemen, empower yourself with knowledge. The fundamental reason why I'm a progressive, fundamental reason, is because I believe in my heart 90% of the world is unfair because 90% of it happens because of human beings. We have power to make things fair if we wanted to. And Democrats, how can I say this the best way? Because the next subject is going to cover this. Democrats fight for it, but not wholeheartedly. Republicans fight for their racism. They fight for their fascism. They fight for their oligarchy. And they don't give a damn who's in the way. They don't care about breaking windows. They're going to fight for that shit. Democrats like the patty cake fight, which is why we can't get enough shit done for progressives and for everybody, because progressive policies, ladies and gentlemen, are for everybody. That's why I'm a progressive. The problem is white nationalist men don't feel that way because they know they have white privilege. And anything that leverages the playing field for everybody takes pieces away from their privilege. So, folks, please go check out my boy DL Hughley. Leave your comments. I will read some of you guys' comments before I get off today. I ain't forgot about y'all, so keep leaving them. And you can even super chat this channel. Next, let's talk about y'all's president. Let me show y'all what y'all's president posted just the other day. Let me show y'all this mess. Dude, get a life, man. Do something with yourself, brother. Do something. This is y'all's president. What's wrong with this picture, ladies and gentlemen? Outside of the obvious. Number one, we know good and damn well Donald Trump's body don't look like that. That looks like Barack Obama's body when he's missed the whole summer of tanning. We know that. And look how big that head is compared to the body. And then if you take a look back there at the two people who are supposed to be competing to be the number one person after Trump kicked the bucket, you got Little Marco and you got JD, Just Dance for the Rich People. And then I don't know who I can't really tell who the girl is. Either way, these are fake bodies. These are images Trump did with AI that probably cost $10,000 of what they're trying to do with the big pool in front of the Lincoln Memorial to commemorate 250 years. Why are we doing this? Why? The social programming that white America has put in place would normally tell you this stuff right here is beneath the office of the White House. That's what they would say. That's beneath the office of the White House. A president who's got enough time on his hands to do this is not governing. Is what white America and the social construct they put in place would normally tell you. And keep that image in mind, folks, because we're going to talk about a lot of the social programming that has happened in the world that has been fake, lies, gaslighting, and never been true. It's just been something put in place so that we could behave a certain way. We're going to talk about that a lot because Killer Mike has crossed that boundary and his ass got to be checked. But because Trump does the bidding of the people that love to put these social constructs in place that are lies to keep people at bay so that they can do whatever the fuck they want to do behind your back, they're not saying anything right now. Let Barack Obama had done this. Well, let's not even go that far. Let Biden had done something like this. Biden couldn't even take a nap 2 p.m. in the afternoon at nap time. Fuck, he old. Old people take naps. Hell, at least Biden don't wear the pins like Trump does. Shit stains running down his leg and stuff. Come on, man. This is really beneath the office of the White House. For real. And I don't want to hear a thing when Democrats finally get a president in there that's got some balls and ain't scared to break some eggs to make an omelet and get shit done. Like, we got to do something about that Supreme Court, pack the court, lock it down, get Democrats in there, or this country is going to continue to go to hell, not in a handbasket, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to hell in a bobsled. And you use that shit for the Winter Olympics, not the Hell Olympics. We've got to do something about this wealth inequality. It makes no sense that minimum wage nationally is still the same thing it was when I was in high school. And I was born in the 80s. Makes no damn sense. Cost of living is like probably 50 times that. Makes no sense. Makes no sense how unregulated capitalism is. And we're going to need somebody that's got balls to get in there and shake this shit up. And I don't want to hear nothing from those same mighty whiteys that would run their mouth about this normally, ain't got shit to say now. Or let me even rephrase it better. Let's say that they say, oh, I don't like this from Trump. It's not right. He shouldn't do it. Okay, vote that way. Because some of them like to think it's okay to say, I don't like it, but they still take their crummy asses in there and vote for Trump because he gives them a tax break. Make no mistake, folks. Rich white people, they're not voting for Trump because of fucking morals. They're not. They're voting for Trump because they are in their hearts con men too. They want to circumvent paying taxes so that the middle class and poor have to pay those taxes. And a lot of them voted for Trump because they know that if they didn't, their asses would be in jail from the Epstein files. So post your comments and let me know what you think as we get into more of the enlightened part of the show. Now, do I need to go get my tinfoil hat, ladies and gentlemen? If this is your first time finding me, my name is Lamont. This is the Politics of Being Black. I have a tinfoil hat that I put on. I use it the way Magneto uses his hat against Professor X from getting in his brain. Except for my tinfoil hat, ladies and gentlemen, is used to protect me from MAGA. That disease that's worse than the plague. Because with the plague, you have no choice in how your body behaves. With MAGA, for some reason, you get infected by that shit in your brain. You have a choice, but you still do MAGA stuff. So I got a tinfoil hat I normally put on when I'm dealing with MAGA folks, the Kristi Noems, the Erica Kirks, the JD Vances, but I'm not going to put it on today, folks. I ain't going to put it on today. I'm going to have to start pulling the shit out for black people. And what do I call it? I call it D-knowledge. Black people who expand on a level so deep that hell, they don't know what they talking about themselves. I call that D-knowledge. And a person coming to the stage today that you could kind of say was a conscious rapper. And I've noticed that a lot of these so-called conscious rappers tend to be on that D-knowledge. And in some cases, folks, they have points, but it always seems like it comes back to grifting. So before we talk about Killer Mike, let me just say this. Killer Mike was on this big tip maybe a year or two ago about financial empowerment. I always hear these cats talking about financial empowerment. And there's different levels of financial empowerment. Number one, you need to know how credit works. Number two, you need to know how to balance a checkbook. Number three, you need to know how to deal with a debit card versus a credit card. I get all that. But at the end of the day, the number one thing you got to have in order to do those things is money. And oftentimes when these people start talking those things, they're making a financial gain out of it somehow. And look, I'm not knocking getting paid for doing stuff, but I am going to knock that if you know the only way you're going to help people is to get paid when you already are paid, it rubs me the wrong way to a degree. And it also rubs me the wrong way when you get an audience and you know you have a responsibility to tell them to people the things that can really help not just them, but everybody rise together. A rising tide lifts all boats, not a little tsunami that only raises a handful of the 1% boats and then washes away everybody else. So Killer Mike was on that. And I want you to take a video by a creator named Big Matt 510. He's on Instagram. Go check him out. He puts out great work, by the way. Giving you a critique of some of the things Killer Mike had to say. And then we're almost on our way to Eric Benet. See what I did there? Check this out.
Intentions and impact are two different things. See, what Killer Mike should have done was told people, I don't give a fuck, vote for this woman. Policies, this, that, and the third, vote for this woman. See, I feel, and I'm not going to just say Killer Mike, but I think a lot of black men, a lot of black people validate and equate worth based on what we get. And if anyone has went to college, taken federal government, knows if a black president does anything for black people, it's going to cause a fucking riot. Bare minimum, black president does something for black people and nobody else, the next president is going to come in and wipe that shit away. And possibly do something for what's the name? It's an educated, strategic thought process that one must have. So what are you going to do for the black community? What are you going to do for black people? Well, nothing, because I'm going to do something to ensure that black people eat. Kamala even said, I'm going to do things because black people, anything that is for black people, everyone else capitalize off of. Look at history. Everything that has been geared for black people, other people who aren't white benefit off of it. And if I have to tell you this, you're not paying attention. And look at it like this. If we would have been like, I don't give a fuck, we're voting for Kamala. It would be exactly what MAGA's doing right now. They don't give a fuck about shit. They're voting for their best interest. Bare minimum, I don't give a fuck. Fuck this dude. I mean, let's just keep it real. You have a franchise, a basketball team, a franchise. Are you going to pick the qualified candidate, even though they're hard or they might whatever? Or a motherfucker who has zero experience controlling any fucking thing? He's shooting heroin in the fucking parking lot, but that's our coach. He's diddling minors, but that's our coach. No, fuck him. He has no experience. Vote for this sister. She has more experience working with groups of people, being in control, knowing structure, knowing time management, knowing policies, knowing rules, knowing the laws, opposed to this motherfucker who knows nothing. So at this point in the game, intentions don't mean shit, because guess what? How good are Killer Mike's intentions when a guy who's a convicted rapist and child molester is the president? Nothing. It holds no weight. It holds no equity in the fucking present. His intention should have been telling niggas, vote for this black woman. That's it. That's all that matters. The I didn't mean to don't mean shit when shit's fucked right now. Appreciate your comment, though.
Well, folks, he's right. And Killer Mike is not the only one on this bull job. What you got? Little Duval, he's on it. Homeboy, that's the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, he's on this bull job. And I think some of this, whether they want to admit it or not, they just didn't want to vote for a woman. And dare I say, a black woman. Because she did try to want it all, like he said, it almost seems like she was a prophet. And she didn't have to be a prophet because everybody knew Trump was going by that Project 2025 playbook. And all this shit is in there. Gutting voting rights, suppressing women's right to choose, taking away discriminating voting, taking funding away from public social programs so that rich people could have tax cuts. Everything was in there. Kamala didn't prophesize nothing. Kamala just paid attention to the data. And what hurts worse, when you have your own black people who constantly are telling you to, well, let me put it like this, Black MAGA. Black MAGA, let me take their perspective. They're always telling us that when we vote for Democrats, we're voting for the plantation, we're not doing research. That's what they always say. Who was more qualified for this job? Who grew up, had a background in law and politics, Trump or Kamala? That's research for your ass, Mr. Postman. But they won't admit that type of shit, will they? No, because they didn't vote for who would be most qualified for the job. They voted for who would make them feel better about the job. And some of them wanted to feel hate and not have a plate. And you dumbasses that voted for hate and ain't got a plate to eat right now, that's your fucking fault. So who are you hating on now? Or are you still yucking it up for Trump when he does some racist shit? Killer Mike, you was a part of that. You was a part of that. You helped foster that. You and every other person who rode the fence. A good example of someone who's doing that right now, grifting, is Stephen A. Smith. He does this shit to a tilt. Does he have anything to worry about? Nope. That man just signed 4 years, $100 million. Probably on the low, he has moved conservative because he don't want to pay taxes. But it does not help middle class and poor when you have this size of an audience following you who's impressionable. And I have a problem with that. And maybe Killer Mike, I'm going to start calling him Ozempic Mike because he used to look like this. And now my man is looking like this. I think that some of that Ozempic, he lost some brain waves too. Maybe he'll get some of that shit back. But when you are a person who has reach and influence, you have a responsibility, whether you want to admit it or not. If you're going to make money off of your public appearances, you should be telling people the truth. Like, people should be able to be told by you something, they can Google it or they can chat GPT it, and what you're saying is the truth. Not bull jive. Not this alternative fact shit that Trump and MAGA lives in, not in that bubble, the real truth. And it should be, if you're someone who has been for Black people, talk about the things that can help bridge the gap between Black people and the issues we have with inequality and the issues we have with wealth inequality. That's what we should be doing. And he hasn't been doing that. So post your comments, y'all. Let me know what you think on Killer Mike out here just caping it up for the wrong causes. And we are going to move on to the next subject, which is another one of those kind of Black MAGA subjects that they love to run with. And it's from my guy, Charles Barkley, who, folks, Charles Barkley, he is not a Republican. This is something he said the other day. Poor people have been voting Democrat for 50 years and they're still poor. And guess what, people? There's some truth in that. But you'll see that posted on Republican websites, and I'm going to put it back up here, and they'll try to get you to think that, yeah, that's why Black people should vote for Republicans. We've had Republicans and Democrats. The wealth gap for Black people hasn't been closed yet. So why the fuck would they vote for you, Republicans? At the very least, with Democrats, some of the fiery pits of hell that you have to step in to get this gap closer, Democrats have fought for it. Voting rights was a Democrat thing. Minimum wage has always been a Democrat thing. Healthcare has been a Democrat thing. And here's the problem, ladies and gentlemen, that people don't want to address, because MAGA folks who, dare I say, are not that educated, don't critically think, they'll see this line and that'll just be it. They'll just see this and they won't think what else entails policy. Forget you've got to have a majority in the House, a majority in the Senate, and normally a president couldn't act unilaterally. But we've learned that that shit is a lie. That was just some made up shit by white dudes. We've seen Trump act unilaterally all he wants to and get away with it. So maybe, having seen this, maybe the next Democratic president will get his ass up in there, shuck and jive, say fuck you Supreme Court, say fuck you Senate, say fuck you Congress. I'm going to give these Black folks 50 acres and a mule, or the equivalent in finances. I'm going to give all the American people minimum wage raised to $25 an hour. And if corporate America wants to have a bellyache and throw up, let them. Corporate America is what's been screwing the middle class and poor for all these years. And you know how they get away with it? Social issues in policy, religion in policy, gay rights in policy. They find just the right thing to make those poor people who need something to hate something, and would rather vote for that than their plate. Keep in mind, hate and plate. That's the choice. You're either going to live off hate or you're going to eat food off your plate. And MAGA, Fox News, Republicans, and even people like Stephen A. Smith is learning that you can grift into a hefty salary and you can grift into a whole lot of power by placating these people that would rather have hate than food on their plate. And that's what we got going on, ladies and gentlemen. So post your comments on that one right there. Charles Barkley giving a portion of the truth the part that MAGA loves to run away with and can't figure out how that's wrong. But us folks who are educated, us people who have been through school, been through parts of the government, we know how that's not just the full statement. But hey, we live in Fox News era. Now, folks, we are going to get into celebrities who do tend to get things right. They effectively show that they care about the well-being of everybody. They have humanitarian acts that they care for, and generally speak up when they see injustice going on in the world. First one we're going to come to right now is the homegirl, Jenny Lawrence. Take a look.
People protesting for what's happening in Palestine. How worried you are for the future of our kids and your kids? Thank you so much.
It's mortifying. What's happening is no less than a genocide, and it's unacceptable. I'm terrified for my children, for all of our children, and everybody needs to remember that when you ignore what's happening on one side of the world, it won't be long until it's on your side as well. I wish.
100%, Jenny. I mean, why do y'all think that America went and helped get rid of Hitler? Part of it is because they didn't want to see somebody coalesce so much power that they could actually take us on and put a dent in our armor. That's one issue. But also there was a genocide going on. They was trying to erase people by their religion. They was trying to erase people by their skin, by their eye color, by their hair color. They was trying to literally get rid of people. And America said, F that. The Allies said, F that. And for some reason right now, with this person we have in leadership here, we're on the wrong side of that. We're on the side of Russia. We're on the side of one of the biggest war criminals to ever live, Benjamin Netanyahu, and we have politicians who can't even say that about him. This man doesn't care about Trump. He cares about being able to use Trump for money and use our military to accomplish what he wants to accomplish. And what always bugs me is this. Israel, their people get free health care, free education, and we give them money. Why? We do have a lot of Jews in America that support them, and that bugs me too. But the most important thing that bugs me is the money that they put behind AIPAC. And that's what pushes buttons in America, money, sadly. And the Supreme Court with Citizens United weakened the people when it comes to people versus money. Because they said, ladies and gentlemen, in that ruling, they basically said that corporations are people. No, the fuck they're not. I've never seen a corporation have an asthma attack. I've never seen a corporation have a headache. Have y'all seen a corporation have sex and give birth to a baby? No, no. That was some more home cooking by Republicans to consolidate power with the rich people. And folks, we're on a precipice where we have an opportunity to break that shit, to stand up for humanity, to help humanity, not just in America, but worldwide. Because I told you I'm a progressive, because progressive policies at their foundation. Now, see, at their foundation and getting them done is two different things. At their foundation, support the betterment of everybody and not just a specific group, not just the 1%, not just the 2%, not just the 5%. They support everybody chipping in to uplift everybody. If you've already gotten a whole lot of help, you don't need all that help right now. We've got homeless folks that need help. We've got children that don't have families that need help. We've got immigrants here who are just trying to work a job that need help. We've got white men who want to go round up immigrants right now, but would never, ever take their ass and do the jobs that the immigrants would do. How many white guys y'all seen out there picking fruit? How many white guys have y'all seen actually doing work on a construction site, other than the guy who's probably the boss? So yeah, we've got people that want to get things going, but we've got to start executing the policy. And when we find good celebrities that have humanitarian acts in them, we got to listen to them. Here's another thing that was going on, ladies and gentlemen, that you might have missed. Take a look at this. First of all, let me tell you who that is before I pick on him. This is another humanitarian named Benet. And if you have not seen Eric Benet's IG or his TikTok, you're missing a treat. I think Eric Benet, if he wanted to be a political commentator, he would have a hell of a career doing it. He is outspoken on the issues we deal with in America. Now, I love him for that, but I hate him because his ass can sing so good. Okay. This man is the type of dude who sings so good, he could probably sing the fiery panty draws off the devil's wife and sing her ass back to heaven if he wanted to. That's how good he can sing. That's what he's known for. And if you've never heard Eric Benet, take a listen. That's Eric Benet, used to be the husband of Holly Berry. He recently called out Jelly Roll for the shit he's doing with President Trump. And this is not the only one of his great TikToks and his Instagram. So please go check him out, because the more he speaks out, it seems like they be trying to silence my man. So go show him some love. But here, let's take a look at what he had to say about Jelly Roll.
We all saw the Grammys, and remember that moment where that Jelly Roll motherfucker accepted his speech? Powerful speech, right? Holding the Bible up in his hand and talking about what the Lord has done for him, how the Lord has changed him. But then later when he was asked about, yeah, but what about the atrocities in the world? All of a sudden he was, well, I'm just a dumb old redneck. I keep my political views to myself. I remember profoundly in that moment, I went, I don't know much about that nigga, but that nigga full of shit. And then all this shit is coming out in the press. Never trust a person who will speak passionately and in great detail about love. But when it's time to...
I'll finish what he was trying to say, folks. And my grandma taught me this well. The brighter the picture, folks, the more somebody is standing on a soapbox about Christ or how much they love their wife or whatever it is, the darker the negative, meaning probably behind closed doors, they're doing the complete opposite, ladies and gentlemen. So Jelly Roll is up there holding that Bible and shit, right? But look who he hangs out with. And I ain't talking about the Three Stooges, Larry, Curly, and Moe. This is Kid Rock and Donald Trump and Jelly Roll. All of them can roll their asses up in a fruit roll up and roll the hell away. That's why when he didn't mention his policies, ladies and gentlemen, and that tends to be the trend with most of these religious whack jobs. They talk the stuff that the Bible and Jesus Christ say you should be doing, but then they vote for Republicans. And not just Republicans, MAGA Republicans. The type of cats that are in the Epstein files. The type of cats that'll tell you they'll shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue, you'll still vote for them. Your Bible don't say vote for nobody that's shooting folks. The type of people that say grab them by the pussy, but for some reason you still think that Jesus Christ is grabbing pussies too, huh? The type of person that'll say, I'm going to blow up a whole country. How many countries did Jesus Christ say he was going to blow up? Jesus Christ, if I remember the story correctly, took 2 pieces of bread and 5 pieces of fish and fed 5,000 people that he didn't really care for. But yet you want to see, folks, that's what I mean. It's a crutch. It's not real. The people who swing around that Bible and all these other little platitudes that have power and money, they do it to keep people at bay and to keep people voting for the policies that they want. They don't give a damn about them people. They don't give a damn about them people's policies. The one thing you can say about Democrats, the policies we try to support, even though we need more stuff to help minorities, whatever we put in place actually helps everybody else. I mean, someone who's worth $100 million, what does it matter if they have to pay $1 million in taxes? There's this term businessmen love to use. It's just the price of doing business. Well, fuck it, you live in America. Pay the price of doing business. These folks are starving out here. And every single barricade you deal with, in terms of money, economics, price versus needs, all that. At some point in time, people, the only way you bend the curve is to socialize it. Because for too long, rich people have bent the curve socializing the government's money for their bidding. And when they did that, it increases inflation, which is why gas when I was in high school, gas was 89 cents, people. And I'm not 50. Gas right now is $4 in North Carolina. And the only way you fix that is there's going to have to be some control, because these corporations is not going to pay people's salaries commensurate to catch up. And so for those of you that love to ride the coattails of these businessmen and how businessmen talk about labor kills them and all that shit, fuck them. You got to pay. Because if not, eventually the country breaks down because people don't have the money to do anything. And so what's going to happen then? The rich people are going to flee to Italy. They're going to leave America. If America ever cracks down, starts making them pay their share of what they need to be paying, starts making people ordain the rules that are supposed to govern capitalism, maybe some of them will leave then. But as long as they turn blind eyes, these rich dudes ain't never going nowhere. Never. And so, folks, support my boy Eric Benet. His link is in the description. Don't forget to like this video, comment, subscribe. Let me know what's been going on in your life in politics. If you want to see Jelly Roll, this is his ass again. Don't, probably not too long, he's going to be on that Ozempic too. I would warn y'all to stay away from it because new studies have come out to say that it does some stuff to your bones. Just research it because I haven't fully researched that yet, but I always felt like it was. But what's more important to me is that you use your brain cells to help vote for the needs of everybody and not just the specific few. Oh man, I got a super chat. Before I go, let me read this super chat. This comes to me from my boy DeMarcus Vaughn. He says, what would you rather do? Not have to pay back school loans or not have to pay taxes forever for reparations since the government will not give out a large amount of money? Well, DeMarcus, that's easy. Not pay taxes. And as a reparation, the government should give either form. Now, if I'm being, how can I put this? I want to say if I'm being like fair about the numbers, it probably should be something like pay school tuition. But if you're someone who doesn't want to go to school and you want to start a business, maybe give you the equivalent money to start a business. Because if you have people not paying taxes for a long time, eventually the country, it will go bankrupt. But nobody ever just says that shit, DeMarcus, when we go to war. Do they? The Republicans always got money for war, but they can't feed the poor. That's a quote from Tupac. And it still holds true like some 20 years since his death. It still holds true. So DeMarcus Vaughn, man, I appreciate that, my brother. He sent me that. My birthday's coming up. He also sent me another question. Lamont, did you counsel Chili for donations? No, I didn't counsel her for donations. She can still donate if she wants to. I'm all for it. DeMarcus, we need reparations. Some form, some way, we do need reparations. Oh, DeMarcus came through with another. I appreciate you, brother. The Constitution needs to be updated because we as Blacks are still counted as 3/5 a person. We are more than 13% of the population and not minority. The problem with that, DeMarcus, is human beings that are treating us this way. Early in this video, DeMarcus, I said that the reason why 90% of things in life are unfair is because human beings make it that way. And that's why it's that way, DeMarcus. We need to get a Democrat who's going to get in there and bully things around the way Trump has bullied things around for the rich and the 1% and in the name of fascism. That's what we need. And if we can't get that, we've got to keep doing it on our local level. And when we have people that have influence, I have a very, very finite, small influence. And DeMarcus, you've been following me since you've seen my channel change clothes 3 or 4 times. Damn near might as well say y'all done seen me naked before. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep fighting too. And so, folks, that's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like it. Please comment, subscribe. DeMarcus Vaughn, my brother, thank you so much for hanging with me for all these years. Continue to share me. And until that next Sex is Hell video, folks, I'm out.
Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body.